What's up, everybody? We are back. We are back talking some crude, and we jumped right into it a little early. Just kind of led the show with mid-recruiting talk. So tonight's focus obviously is the 2024 commits. We do need to do a little cleanup slash correction slash letter to the editor from last week's show, the Ohio State Legacies, father and sons. We missed three big ones, and I blame the article I was reading where I got all much of my information, and I blame my 50-year-old brain. But we're waiting for Jeff to join. He'll pop in here occasionally or eventually, and he'll be out of breath, breathing heavily and stuff. So hopefully he'll come in here slowly. I guess we should start with, do you want to talk Dylan Raiola, or do you want to wait for Jeff to talk about Dylan Raiola?
Well, actually, let's finish with last week. I'm interested to see the three that we missed. I'd like to opine on that. I haven't heard the three father-son guys we missed. Okay. We'll keep going on that.
Perfect. So the three big ones that we missed, and I think we missed two of them because their sons did not finish their careers at Ohio State. That's probably how we missed them, and they didn't come to our frontal lobe. So William and Brendan White, we remember them, both DBs. William White, 1984 graduate of Lima Senior, 4-year starter at DB between 84 and 87, captain on the 87 team, played on two Big Ten championship teams, 84 and 86. Two teams that beat Michigan, 84 and 87. They beat Michigan in Ann Arbor. Earl Bruce's last game as coach, William White was on that team. He started 46 games at corner, finished his career 178 tackles, all Big Ten as a senior, and tied third in Ohio State history with 16 career interceptions, 5 as a senior, and 2 pick sixes, tied for second in school history. So
nice.
We remember Brendan White not too long ago, 2017 to 2019, lettered twice and was defensive MVP of the 2019 Rose Bowl. Then transferred out to Maryland.
Who was the 2019 Rose Bowl? Who did we play?
Who did we play? I think that was USC, wasn't it? With Sam Darnold?
Could be.
Or is that after that? Oh, it was Washington. Yeah, that's right. That was Urban Meyer's last game as coach when he handed the whistle to Ryan Day. Dwayne Haskins, Mike Weber, Paris Campbell, that crew. Johnny Dixon. So, yeah, we remember
what a
White.
solid family right there. That's some serious production.
Yeah, and William White just died a couple of years ago from ALS.
Oh man.
Yeah, he's a close friend of Chris Spielman. So, yeah. But yeah, strong Buckeye family there, even though Brendan did not finish his career at Ohio State.
Where did he go?
He went to Maryland.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Next is the Carter family. Chris and Duron. We forgot about Duron Carter. Obviously, Chris Carter, all-timer, almost doesn't need an introduction. 84 to 86, started all 3 years, 164 catches, 2,700 yards, 27 touchdowns. The leaping, diving, acrobatic catches were his staple. Set a Rose Bowl record, 9 catches, 172 yards. he did a lot. This guy, he didn't even play his senior year
until Njigba destroyed that.
Well, yeah. But back in the 80s, this was something. OSU's first All-American wide receiver.
Huh?
That's saying something. So
CC obviously legend, absolute legend. But I mean, how long was his son there? I feel like he came for a cup of coffee and didn't even make it a year, or did he?
Right. Yeah. He didn't make it a year. I think he did get some snaps, but he bebopped around. I remember him going to a community college out in Kansas, then popped up in Alabama, and then Florida Atlantic. He's from Fort Lauderdale anyways. So now he is like 30 years old, and his Twitter bio says he's director of player personnel for North Palm Beach Prep. But he also he played in the CFL for like a decade. I think he just got another call back to the CFL, so he could end up playing a little bit more. But yeah, not the NFL money he was probably hoping for back in the day. Suffering from affluenza, I believe.
All right.
But anyway, the last family doesn't need much of an introduction either. Archie and Adam Griffin. I forgot Adam Griffin, Archie's son, played for the Buckeyes. I think it was like 2012 to 2015, 16, something like that. Shoulder injury ended Adam's career, but we know Archie, 72 to 75, double Heisman trophies, 74 and 75, three-time All-American, All Big Ten, only player to ever start 4 consecutive Rose Bowls, back when that used to matter. Adam was a fourth-year junior, played in 16 games.
Never gets old reading Archie's bio, does it?
Fuck, dude, I cut it in like a third. It could go on for a half hour.
That's nice.
Yeah. Adam played in 16 games, mostly on special teams. Shoulder injury ended his career. He went by the nickname Young Arch, kind of was given to him. He was given the Iron Buckeye Award, which is given to the Buckeye who best exemplifies unquestionable physical training, dedication, determination, discipline, toughness, and leadership. And we still see that being given out today. Adam, again, just a short 4-year career with the Buckeyes, and didn't ever get to live out his dream of going to the league, but that's another father-son duo with a,
sometimes the talent ain't there, but it's just, it's tough, but that he got an Iron Buckeye isn't surprising to me with the quality that Archie's always presented himself at. He raised a solid boy. That ain't a dipshit.
Exactly. So, all right, let me check on the chat. We'll see if Jeff is getting in here yet. We got Tyrone. Tyrone is the first in. Gold star for you, Tyrone. He said, "What's up, everyone?" Billy's right behind him. He says, "What's up to Tyrone, Joe, Shawn?" Daniel's in here. What's up, Daniel? Tyrone, yep, almost at 2,000 subs. I know, we just crossed 1,900 today. What else? PC's in here. PC, a Sunday nighter for you. Good to see you, sir. He says he just popped in for a little bit. What else? We got PC says, let's go 3 for 3 with the Ohio kids we wanted and get Houston, Edric Houston out of Buford. How would you guys feel about our class? Well, right off the top, that's a good way to kind of spin it into the recruiting talk. I feel really good about the class. I'm checking everything to see what's going on. I'm not seeing anything about Aaron Scott yet. I'm trying to stay up to date on the Twitter and the message boards while we're talking. So if anything pops up, I will drop it in here.
Are we thinking Scott's imminent?
I think so. That's how I feel. I'm sure not everybody is on board, but some of the photos and stuff from his visit this weekend, maybe he wants to put it off and kind of be on his own day, because actually Witten and Bryce West, they both announced their commitments to the coaches on Friday night at their dinner, but didn't release them until Saturday. So
was Scott at that dinner?
Yeah, definitely. It was all recruits. Yeah. So recruits and coaches and stuff. There's a video of it. If I can track it down while we're talking, I'll show it to you. But yeah, I think Berm had it out there. It was kind of a brief, less than 10-second video. And it was hard to even make out who was in the crowd, but it was like I would say 4 to 6 round tables with people having dinner, and Bryce West got up with a microphone and basically said, thank you to my parents and this and that, and said, I'm committing to the Buckeyes, but wasn't released. That video was Friday night. That didn't get released until Saturday after he committed. Got a little Stag Junior tonight, Henry.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, goes down smooth after that initial burn.
I'm laying off tonight, going heavy on H2O.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, been hitting it hard. A lot of grad parties and yeah.
Okay.
Winding her down.
You should live over here. There is no winding down till like Monday morning. So let me check the chat. Yeah, PC, to answer your question, I feel really good about 3 for 3 with the Ohio guys. And
so we're
Edric
talking
Houston.
The 3 for 3s, the Glenville boys, and then Scott, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure there's not somebody else out there in Ohio that we want.
As far as Ohio guys, that might be the last. Oh no, Teron Nichols, the other corner. He's out of Cincy. He is a track star. That dude is fast as fuck. He's gotten offers from everybody. He just got one from Alabama recently. Teron Nichols, I believe I thought it was Winton Woods down in Cincinnati. I could be wrong. He is definitely somebody to keep an eye on as a 4th corner. You're going to get Miles Lockhart out of Arizona. That's a given. He's been on Buckeye lock since like November. He's
the corner, right?
Yeah, he's a corner out of Arizona. He's announcing July 6th. So I think if the Buckeyes want 4, Teron Nichols out of Cincinnati is your 4th. Let me check the chat here. Billy, you've been killing it with the subs. Thank you, Billy. Thank you for noticing. Yeah, PC says he's not bullish on Bolden. Not getting a great feel for him. No, I'm not either. I would say he did tweet after Bryce West committed on Saturday. Bolden tweeted while on his visit to Alabama, and his location is in his tweet. It's the metadata below the tweet. He said something to the effect of, "That's the move," and the eyeballs from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, like 1:45 in the afternoon or something like that yesterday. So KJ Bolden's paying attention. So when he's on a visit to Alabama and he's noticing things like that, I think that's important. I do agree with PC that I don't have a great feel for him either, but I'm not ruling him out yet. Hey, there's some asshole in the chat named Jeff Warwick. He says, "Hey guys, JW on a car phone for the first time, long time. Show sounds great with just the two of you." Yeah, no surprise there, right, Shawn?
We tried, Jeff. We miss you though, brother.
Let's see what else. Billy, I wonder if Houston will still wait to August 22nd to announce. Don't think I can wait that long. No, I can't wait that long either, Billy. We'll see. We'll see if he can.
With that Raiola coming, Buford's got me. I don't know. They're in my head, man. I want these kids to commit. I feel Raiola's going to be working on them all year and being in there in Georgia. Kirby probably stopping in there once fucking a week. Hey, boys. Yeah, concerning to me. I do not love that.
But how much work can he really do as a quarterback on defensive guys in like 4 months?
Come on, a high school locker room, and I mean the bonds made and the whatever, whether it's offense, defense, it's a teammate, and you're out there sweating and bleeding with each other. That bond forms.
But he hasn't been to the school, so
right.
now.
So hopefully they all think he's a prima donna asshole. No offense to the young recruit.
I'm not offended.
But don't be taking my guys.
That's right.
But I mean, that's his job. That's what our kids do. The good kids,
Hands
they
off.
recruit and they help their classes.
Right. Yep. I'm not too worried about Dylan Ravioli. I think he's just maybe he's working on some younger guys like 25s, 26s, those classes. I don't think he's really going to make a dent in the 24 class. At least I don't know how KJ Bolden and Edric Houston listened to some new guy just walked in the door. It's a quarterback that's been through three other schools. They're already
top 20 guys. Yeah, they're
right. Yeah, why am I listening to you?
Good point.
They're established. They're made men.
They are made men.
So, I don't know. So let's talk about some recruiting. We'll see if Jeff gets in here. He can pick up wherever we leave off. Obviously, a huge week for Buckeye recruiting. We'll quickly run through the 2025 quarterback, Tavian St. Clair. We touched on him. We didn't touch him. We talked about him Friday on the Buckeye Rush Hour. Shawn was on with me, and we gave a little bit of a breakdown of him committing so soon and how quickly this relationship really escalated. He was just offered like a month ago, and even though he's a 3-star right now, I firmly believe, and I think his tape and his camp visits, his workouts are going to prove to be a 5-star before he's a senior, but maybe a little longer. But he's number 1 QB on the board for Ryan Day in the class of 25. They wanted Bryce West as well. Not sure if the Buckeyes were leading for him or not.
Bryce Underwood.
I'm sorry, what'd I say?
West. You got that West in your head.
Sorry. Yeah, must be nice, Bryce. So 6'4", 215 out of Bellefontaine, not Bellefontaine. I quickly learned over the last month, as the well actually crowd likes to hop in the comments and well actually me often. Anyway, he's made amazing growth in the last year. A year ago at Buckeye camps, he was 6'2", 175. Now, 6'4", 215. So put on some serious weight. A lot of early mornings in the weight room. Turned his focus away from baseball. He was throwing 90, Shawn, as a pitcher in his high school baseball program.
Pretty good.
That's usually easy money, that baseball shit, right?
It is, but I mean, like we play really good baseball up where I'm at least like the league, the Catholic leagues that recruit and stuff up here. But I mean, yeah, he'd get on there. They really want their pitchers. If you're a fastball pitcher, like you're playing in the league we play in, you need to be up there about 90.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're hitting 90, man, that's throwing it.
Right. So he's big, obviously, fast, athletic, and he's now getting the confidence in that arm. So he's threading the needle, getting it in there, learning the accuracy. That's going to take a little time. But the best thing, in my opinion, about the commitment is he only lives like less than an hour from campus. So he can be on campus getting developed already, like starting now with Corey Dennis, Ryan Day, getting coaching, getting serious improvement that he could not get at his high school, or maybe not get with paying for a coach, a private coach. So I think that's huge.
But I got to say right now, high school football is about to heat up, right? Pretty much after the 4th of July, it's real deal. Yeah. And I mean, is he gonna have time to do that? I'm sure the coaches are talking to him a bunch. Hey, we would like you to do this and that and whatnot. And they probably talk to his coach. Say, hey, yeah, no, he's not playing safety for you either. We'll make him quit.
Right.
Don't get our kid hurt. But yeah, I don't know. I think most of these programs, they're talking to the kid saying, hey, giving them things to work on. But I don't know at this time how much time he could really spend with them. And our coaches are starting to get busy themselves, right? Not like they're gonna have a shit ton of extra time coming up here soon as well.
Yeah, July is like the end of free time ish, if you ever had any. But he did make 3 visits in like 6 days to Columbus for camps.
He went to all those camps.
Yeah. So he got extra work in with Dennis and Day. So I'm really excited about him. I can't wait to see him in a Buckeye uniform. It's going to be pretty awesome. As a sophomore last year, he completed 70% of his passes, 2,500 yards, 25 touchdowns. I know Bellefontaine isn't D1 in Ohio, but who knows? I don't think he'll transfer. He seems like a pretty stable and I'm sticking with my guys kind of kid. So I don't see him moving around or changing high schools at all, just to increase the level of competition, And why would he? And why would he have to?
If you already got the offer, it's like trust the process, and hopefully he's not coming in like some of our guys. I think come in a little bit entitled, or the guys that come in entitled always leave. The Rayolas and the Ewers, thinking, hey, I'm the guy, and it's like, well, get in line, kid. That this kid is a high 3-star, just a smidge under 4-star composite. Maybe he's a little more humble and wants to work. So if you got to sit there for 2 years behind Aaron Nolan, that's what you expect almost going in.
Right. And he wants to be a leader. He's said this in interviews. He wants to be a leader for the class of 25. He wants to go after, the big names like Marquise Davis, Bo Jackson, Luka Gilbert, Carter Lowe, Trey McNutt, Dorian Brew, Justin Hill, all those guys. He wants to be, the Pied Piper. So right. I love it. I mean, you want your quarterback to be that guy, that outgoing, bringing people together kind of person, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you need a couple of those guys in the class, guys that are high charisma leaders, that, people want to be around. Like, yeah, I want to play with this guy. We're gonna have a blast.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope, again, I still hope on that front, it wasn't too long ago that we would take two kids in the same class. And so I would not take my foot off the gas for Montgomery. Again, I said before, I think we went on, read some stuff about him down at the IMG Under Armour, like Future 50 prospects, and he carved it up pretty good down there from what I hear.
Yeah, Montgomery definitely is a stud. I'm not, he reps the 419, so what can you say about him? I'm happy for him. I just think he's going to end up at a big program elsewhere. I don't think Montgomery's coming. I really don't think Bryce Underwood is. I think they're both national recruits. Maybe Montgomery wants to stay close to home-ish, but he's got Notre Dame, Michigan, Penn State all within driving distance. I don't see him going. He could go out west. I just don't see it from him and his family. But
I thought they were big Buckeye.
They are. I mean, his brother Luke is in the program now. He's a 23 guy.
Right.
23 guy. So
lineman, right?
Finley.
Yeah, lineman.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I thought you said Lima. All right, so let's talk about Bryce West, Demarion Witten, obviously committing yesterday. What's funny is Bryce West told Berm he was committing back in April, and Berm made the commitment graphic for Rivals for his site. Funny that he held out. Michigan obviously had some fun and came around and made a little bit of noise, but really wasn't, in my opinion, much of a story at all. 5'11" and 177, number 4 corner in the country, number 49 player overall. The back and forth in Michigan, I think, was just going on visits, maybe having fun with it. But the pipeline is definitely up and running again. I mean, saw a quote from Cardale Jones earlier today. He loves to see the Ohio State Glenville pipeline back open. Shawn, this has to be a good day for reopening that pipeline, right?
Well, I don't know if it ever really closed. I think there's always been an affinity there, but the pipeline closes itself when you don't have the caliber of kid coming out of there. And, it's hard to produce Ohio State recruits year in and year out. But I couldn't believe the stat that you sent me of the 21 kids from Glenville that have went to Ohio State, 10 have also made the NFL. That's insane. But yeah, glad to see that program's in a strong position. How'd they do last year?
They won the state championship for the first time ever in program history.
In D1?
Yeah, 15-0.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bryce West, also an amazing track guy, runs a 10.93 100 meters, a 6.96 60 meter, twitchy, plays press and press bail coverage very well. He has a top end speed to make up ground quickly, so he can play anything you want, and the Buckeyes want more man-to-man type corners. He's played inside on the slot and also outside against outside faster receivers, and he'll need to get a little stronger though to go against those bigger outside guys, because he's only 5'11", but get him up to 190. That's a good weight for an outside corner, and maintain that speed, of course. He's not super long, but he's reliable. He's an every down defensive back, and didn't allow a touchdown as a junior last year. Had 4 picks, was a max preps junior All-American. So I think the comparison, if you want to think about a Buckeye defensive back, I would say Garyon Conley is probably similar.
All right.
Didn't get a lot of accolades or attention, but it was steady Eddie and turned into a first-round NFL draft pick.
Yeah.
So I think that's the goal, right?
For sure. Absolutely. I think that Hancock, one of those guys, can be that Conley guy, kind of out of nowhere, just come in, do your job. No one ever hypes you that much, but you turn into a first-round draft choice.
Yeah. He becomes commit number 15. Let me check on the chat. Oh, the chat is alive and kicking tonight. Holy shit. Let me get caught up here. Akron boy, good to see you in there. Any updates on Dylan Stewart? Dylan Stewart, I'll check on that and see what the latest is, but I don't think that's a good scene for us right now. I know he had a visit to South Carolina this weekend, and I think it's going to come down to Ohio State versus South Carolina. He did announce a Final Five this past week, almost a week ago, really, of Ohio State, Georgia, South Carolina, Miami. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
I think it's Alabama.
Probably. Yeah. So that was his Final Five from about a week ago. I would love to say that he's a Buckeye lean, but I can't. No crystal balls in or anything like that, but really would love to get him. And again, he's coming from the DMV, which is Larry Johnson's, ground. That's his territory where he's always feasted so well. And
come on, Dylan, come in and be Larry Johnson's last legacy player. Come on.
Yeah.
Do it.
Oh, Eric D, why are you coming in here trying to spoil the party? He says Edric Houston and KJ Bolden are going to Bama or Georgia. That's not nice of you. PC says good breakdown of the main 2025 prospects, by the way. I appreciate it. Lots of kids to follow, lots of work. Yep. Thank you, PC. Hat tip to you for paying attention. A lot of people don't. What else we got here? Billy says, I wonder how St. Clair will feel sitting behind Nolan. Don't know until you see him. Till you see him in there. A long ways to go. Long ways to go. I'm not even worried about that yet. But PC with a request from the audience. At some point, Joe, I'd like to see a wrap of who is still pending for this year. All right. That's kind of what we were going to do tonight. Before it gets too late, I did want to touch on guys we're still going after.
What, 2023?
24.
Oh.
He's talking about the remainder of the 24 class. Billy says no fire behind the smoke of West Michigan nor Whitney. UK, hope no fire behind Scott. Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think those were smoke screens, but I agree there's no fire. Stephen Cherry coming in hot. Kentucky coach was salty when Witten committed to the Buckeyes. That was an awesome tweet, Stephen. Thank you for bringing that up. Did you see that, Henry?
I did, and then I actually I went and followed and read a bunch of the comments behind that thing, which were pretty hilarious. It was awesome. I recommend checking it out if you're into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't hardly even make it out. He must have did that tweet like speaking into his phone, because grown, like a grown man, is GROAN,
yeah.
and it's and instead of and it's
right.
It's hard to read. And then you're kind of bagging on a kid, coach. What the
bad look?
Fuck,
bad
look.
And he had just gotten a commit from another tight end like a couple of days prior. So it was obvious that Witten was going to Ohio State if you're taking a commit from somebody else. So Yeah, it's terrible all around. But fuck Vince Marrow. That guy has fleeced Ohio for so many recruits, not necessarily all high-end Buckeye level recruits, but he has taken Ohio for plenty of fucking recruit. There's a few I remember, like lineman from a couple of years ago ended up transferring, and defensive players. But anyway, let me get through the rest of these comments. Jeff says he's going to pop in shortly. PC says, I agree, Glenville is always there, whether or not there are OSU caliber kids, there or not is the question. Yeah. Eric D, why do you like coming in here and pissing on the parade? He says the DMV belonged to Bama for years. Since when? Do I need to pull up Larry Johnson's resume? I don't agree with that. Anyway.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know all the high-end players that come out of there, but I know Penn State does well there. Larry Johnson does well there. Michigan does well out that way.
Right. Yeah, I don't see too many teams out of the South getting up into the DMV till this year with South Carolina. It's an unusual circumstance.
Yeah, it's just up 95 there, though.
Right. Exactly. A lot of weird things happen on I-95, right? Right.
Oh, I hear.
All right, let's talk Demarion Witten, hard-hitting Demarion Witten, the tight end from Glenville. He's really excited to reopen the pipeline. 6'4", 215, tight end from Glenville, number 19 ranked tight end in the class. Coach Key gets his 2 tight ends that he wanted. Huge work by Coach Key. I want to give him credit. The top in-state tight end stays home. He committed to the Buckeyes over Texas, Tennessee, Purdue, Louisville, Iowa State, Kentucky, Michigan State, Michigan. Pitt was offered by the Buckeyes back in September, and actually by Kevin Wilson back then. Then Keenan Bailey jumped in, took the reins, and let Demarion know that he was a priority to the Buckeyes. So he becomes the 3rd Glenville commit in 2 recruiting classes. Don't forget, we got Arvell Reese in the 23 class, and of course Bryce. So 2 tight ends. That is the first time since 2016 we signed more than 1 tight end in a class. Back in 2016, we signed Jake Hausman, Luke Farrell, and Kyrie Hawkins. Some names from the past. So 7th in-state commit. That's huge to me. That's 7 Buckeyes staying home. Again, Aaron Scott, where are you at? You could be the 8th. Hope you're listening. 16th commitment for the 24 class for the Buckeyes. So you got Max LeBlanc, the other tight end from Chattanooga, originally from Montreal. So these guys are different types of tight ends, and this gives the Buckeyes a lot of options. And obviously they want to run that 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight end system very often. So this is a huge get for the Buckeyes. Witten is an excellent receiver. Needs to work on his inline blocking. That's the focus going into camps. And will need to bulk up, obviously, at only 215. He was Glenville's primary weapon last year, has above average hands, playmaking ability, has receiver qualities, can track the ball, high point the ball, goes up, gets those 50-50 balls. So good speed too. He ran a 4.56 40 at Ohio State's camp recently. So that's a recent time. Yeah. So I'm pumped about this get.
Sounds good. You know, two quality dudes.
Mhm. Exactly.
I don't know. I feel like we've been pretty mediocre there. Stover, plays hard or whatever, but I mean, he plays every position kind of like that, but just a real difference maker. I think either one of these two could be.
Yeah.
And that we've got all these Ohio kids. That's awesome. Real quick, I just actually looked through the 2025 and see this is where the pipeline poses itself. Maybe some kid will come out of nowhere, but I just looked at the top 50 kids in Ohio and none are from Glenville.
Mm. Okay. Well, you can only work with what you got, right?
Exactly. But again, some of these kids will pop on, they probably had a bunch of seniors that are graduating, a bunch of underclassmen that no one's really seen yet. And, people got to make names for themselves. So wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year, there's a Glenville kid or two on this list, but none to start the season.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. You know how that stuff goes. Guys pop up randomly. So, all right. Jeff, are you on? I'm seeing your face out. You're in the meeting.
I'm here, brother. I'm here. Welcome.
All right.
You're welcome for my presence. Hello
thanks.
to everyone. Yeah. Sorry I'm late.
You want to give a quick take on the Bryce West and Demarion Witten commitments?
Must-haves. I think keeping that pipeline open. Like you said with Glenville, we can't afford to be losing them to other schools, especially Michigan. That hurts morale, and it builds morale with them. If they come in and pull a guy that we're looking after. Yeah, I mean, we got Jelani Thurman coming in this year. Pretty much is kind of along the same lines of a tight end. So we definitely have a type we're looking for, but they're more of the split them out athletic types, not the Luke Farrells. So what are we gonna pick up H-back sometime or a more inline blocking tight end? Who's to say? But Bryce West, dynamic athlete, we got to have him. Yeah, just I'm glad we got some must-haves, but also like Ohio hasn't had the highest state level talent. And as you said, 7 guys so far have committed from Ohio.
Yeah,
there's been years where there weren't 7 guys worth that were able to commit
right.
that are to us. So it's just nice to have the talent back in the state popping up, and of course we got to keep it all.
Yeah, that's the challenge. Definitely.
And it seems like the talent level's been down in the past couple of years. I mean, we got the 2 quarterbacks, Montgomery, and St. Clair. I can't remember the last time there was 2 blue chip quarterbacks. Aller was the only one a couple of years ago, really, that anybody was talking about. So,
right. Yeah, 24 and 25 seems to be like an Ohio reboot almost. A ton of quality talent coming out of the high schools there. So maybe that will continue. I hope it does, especially now that they've loosened up some of the spring ball, rules and regulations from the OHSAA. Hopefully that'll help high school kids actually touch a football in the spring without having their hands slapped or whatever. But I think that's huge. So
yeah, it blows my mind that Ohio is behind the times so much compared to the South when it comes to that.
Right.
Like it's just, yeah, if you want to make no contact rules, make no contact rules, but let them get out there and put the helmet on and run through plays.
That's why
people
you're
ready.
Seeing, at least up here, I'm sure it's the same down in Ohio. Like 7-on-7 leagues and tournaments are big up here now, and so these kids are doing all of that. The skill positions anyway, when not in football. But yeah, it's not their high school team and coaches, but I think that's how these kids are getting their extra work in. Again, at least at the skill positions, going to these tournaments, 707s, stuff like that.
Right.
You just said it. The skill positions, and we don't. The linemen, the Ohio linemen that we've been taking, excluding Ferris Johnson, have been more projects than anything else, right? I mean, probably the last 3 or 4 years, like I said, outside Ferris Johnson, they've been, these guys, by the time they come around seniors, they should be ready. Well, we're in the middle of that right now, dealing with that. So you just need to be able to get the proper training. You're making no contact, that's fine, but you got to get the proper training of being able to handle your pass blocking, your techniques and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk targets. Who are we targeting in this 24 class? Obviously, let's start on defense. All right. Because that's kind of the focus. That's where we need most of our guys from. Again, I think this is going to be close to a 30-man class. I'm talking 28 to 30, because the defense is so depleted, and we're loaded on offense as far as the class goes. So remaining targets: Dylan Stewart, Edric Houston, Marquise Lightfoot, Elias Rudolph out, Nigel Smith out, Darian Mayo out. So Edric Houston, Dylan Stewart, Marquise Lightfoot are the 3 main targets. I'm guessing we get 2, probably Edric and Marquise, but we really wanted close to 4 in this class. So I'm not sure where Coach Johnson's going to go from here. Edric is a 5-star, Dylan Stewart's a 5-star, but Marquise is a 4. So it's not like we're going for lesser quality. D tackle is kind of an issue for me. Just saw Jaden Jackson is trending towards Texas now. I thought he was a Buckeye lock out of IMG, but originally from Indianapolis. He camped with Coach Johnson multiple times. He camped like back when he was in 8th grade in Indianapolis, came over to an Ohio State camp. So kind of surprising there. Justin Scott, I don't really have much faith in that. I think that's a Miami Notre Dame battle. We saw Sean Sevillano Jr. commit to Notre Dame. He's from down here in Clearwater, so he's already gone. That I don't have a lot more left in the tank as far as tackles go.
Dude, I'm so worried about, not just tackles, the whole D line right now. We've got nobody in the whole class. Yeah, we're in on a couple guys still. If they don't fall, and then like you said, we need multiple dudes at these spots.
Right.
And we have no one yet. I know we got a couple that are probably pretty good locks, like Lightfoot and maybe a couple others, but I feel how many? They probably want 6 to 8 across that, right?
Yeah, combined, yeah, edges and tackles.
Yeah,
we're not gonna get there. We're not gonna get there if Jaden Jackson is trending towards Texas.
It's 68 total in the class, so 68 out of our 22 or 24 roughly is what we'll take.
No, we're going to take 28 to 30.
Whoa, okay, all right, that's be one of the biggest classes we've had in a long time. I'm not mad at it though, but so 6 to 8 D linemen out of the 28 they're figuring on, and we have 0 at this point. Yeah. That's problems. That's problem. That just brings stress right now. Just thinking about that, because we might, we could leave if our defense plays the way we all expect them to, and these guys ball out. We could be losing 4. All 4 starters potentially could be gone.
Right.
I believe Tyleek would be draft eligible. I know Mike Hall is. He's already projected a 1st rounder, but Jack and JT could, all 4 could be gone, and so we're replacing 4 of them with. We think our edge rushers are good, our first team next year. But yeah, who's in the middle? Who's in the middle?
Yeah, exactly. Shawn Duffy brings up a good point. Booker Pickett. Yeah, he is probably the last edge guy that would have an interest unless we offer somebody new, and coming in late for a guy is, rarely does that work out. But Booker Pickett, his uncle's Ryan Pickett, former Buckeye, but his dad played at Miami. So, he's from Florida, over in Tampa. So not a great option, maybe. We'll see. I'd imagine Larry Johnson's going to end up having to offer some new guys here once the season gets started and they actually get more tape, because Larry likes to, play it slow. Anyway, so we had Kingston Viliamu Asa on campus. No word from his camp. His host was JT and JT's father. So they flew in Mr. JT for the visit, spent a lot of time with Kingston and his family. So we'll see how that goes. That Buckeyes want one more linebacker probably. Cornerback. Oh, I'm sorry. We have a couple other targets. Sammy Brown already committed to Clemson. Spillman is probably a Tennessee guy. Nicholas Rodriguez, I believe he's from STA down in South Florida. He could be a potential if things fall through with Viliamu Asa. Word is that Viliamu Asa's mother likes Notre Dame better for the academics. So Buckeyes needed to paint a picture of being that perfect combination of academics, on field, off field, after career life, to probably make her feel better. So did they do that? We'll find out. Corner. We talked about this already. Obviously, we got Bryce in the mix. Miles Lockhart is a Buckeye lock. I'm saying it. I've been saying it since like January. He'll be announcing July 6th. Then you got Aaron Scott. Jury's still out, allegedly. I think he's a Buckeye. That gives us 3. I think ideally we want 4. Shawn and I talked earlier, Jeff, about Tyrion Nichols. He's from Cincinnati, so he could be that 4th corner. Safety, we need 3. Obviously, the pinnacle is KJ Bolden. I would rule out Peyton Woodyard at this point. He's committed to Georgia, but if USC doesn't flip him, he's probably going to Georgia. We talked about Jordan Johnson-Rubel. He is a Texas guy. We're getting crystal balls to Texas. Reggie Powers committed to Michigan State. Zaquan Patterson. We'll see. That's about it at safety. Go ahead if you got something to say.
Yikes. I remember a lot. I remember a lot of talk about Reggie Powers. Maybe that just came down to getting a bag or not. Because I think if we're going head to head with a kid and if we're interested, we're offering him. In Michigan State, and it's down to us two. I don't see any way in which they would win out on a kid, unless a kid, Reggie Powers. How Michigan State would.
Yeah.
That's just it has. There's got to be something there. There's got to be something. Maybe he got the bag, but good for him, I guess.
We got the safety from Jersey, Jalen McLean. He's legit, but we still need a couple more.
And some of these kids, like you said, I don't know. Some of these kids may just not want the competition. If they see a top flight guy that they know of, in their circles, commit, and they're like, I don't, it's going to be harder for me to get on the field, because me and him play the exact same way, same spot. And some of those kids that we made lose out on, it could be as simple as that. And in that case, we don't want them anyways. So not every miss is guaranteed to come back to hurt us, but it does suck not landing these guys and losing the guy that we wanted to Michigan State. You know, Bama and Georgia losing the top guys in the country to them is understandable. But it's a little hard to swallow. I mean, you're losing guys to programs that aren't on your level.
I mean, I always wonder now if we're going to go into, with Larry Johnson's group and the safeties, kind of anywheres, we're focusing on these top guys, and if, you see where they fill up, and then do you start kind of going to poach other teams' players, that you weren't, you never really were in on them, but there's, at a Wisconsin or somewhere, these players get a couple good dudes every year that could maybe be recruited by Ohio State, but we really didn't recruit them. And now, after, hey, shit, we need a few more spots. Like, that's when offers go out to these kids, and that's when the flipping starts. But I'm hoping anyway. I think for the D line for sure, we're going to need to do something like that.
Right. Yeah. So secondary, we don't have. I mean, we have other offers out there. It's just not. I mean, a lot of guys are committed at safety. Honestly, KJ is actually one of the last people that hasn't committed. Zaquan Patterson's the other one from Chaminade, Banana Prep down in South Florida. But then at corner, we talked about those guys. There's not a lot left there that we haven't offered. Looks like Xavier Brown is going to stay out west, probably go to USC. Charles Lester III, Chucky Three Sticks, down in Venice, Florida. He's staying home, probably going to FSU. So very limited there.
We should trust. We can take those high 3 stars or those 4 stars, even the low ones, and make them into great players. They just, we just got to be able to look a little harder, maybe not focus so much on the 3 guys at the very top of the rankings that are still non-committed, but maybe get back and try to find some guys like, some guys that we can, we can build up, like a James Laurinaitis, type that was a 3-star from Minnesota, but he had the right skills that, Coach Tressel noticed. Finding those guys. Oh, my mind's blanking on the safety. I'm sorry, our outside linebacker from the championship team. And oh my God, sorry.
Which ones? Von Bell?
No, not the safety from
Lee,
them. Darren Lee was a 3-starter that that we developed and found a spot for him, and he excelled, became a first-round pick. And Malik Hooker.
Hooker was a 3-star.
Hooker was a 3-star. Just finding those guys and trusting our program, our coaches, and our staff to be able to get them ready. Just looking for the the elite traits that they have, and then mold them off of that. Seems like we did it in the past, but we haven't.
Yeah.
It's like we're big game hunting, or we're settling for projects. There's a middle ground, I think.
Well, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. They kind of targeted those guys early on in the recruiting, whereas right now we're getting in the latter stages of recruiting for this cycle. Your D Lees and your Malik Hookers, I think, were taken a little earlier. They extended those offers early and then took them. But right now, things are getting picked over. Let's talk offense quickly. Jeremiah McClellan, I still feel really good about as a Buckeye at receiver. Obviously, we're not in for any other running backs or quarterbacks. Should probably mention that first. So going to receiver, Jeremiah McClellan from St. Louis has to be a Buckeye. I don't see how he isn't. And then Elijah Moore just recently, today actually, got 3 crystal balls to Florida State. I believe he was on a visit. So maybe these Florida State writers are just, he was on a visit this weekend to FSU. So I don't know, maybe he's just coming off that post-visit high, So I don't know if I read a lot into that. Although I think one crystal ball was from Wilt Fong So he's usually not easily to send those out. But we'll see. Definitely one more receiver. Brandon Baker, the old lineman, and Gerby Lambert, the other tackle. Those are the big fish that Justin Fry wants to fry. Brandon Baker from Mater Dei, Gerby Lambert from Massachusetts. Gerby Lambert seems like a very quiet homebody type. Not sure if he's even going to try big time football. He had canceled a visit to Boston College this last week and instead took a visit to Harvard. So I don't know where his head's at. Obviously, no info coming out of that family or that camp. There's no camp.
There is no camp, but just the mother, father, right?
Yeah.
Those guys might be the perfect guys to get, though.
I think it was a struggle to get him to come to Columbus for the fucking official visit.
Then you have to wonder too, if his heart's not in it, then he's going to end up flaming out because of the amount of pressure and work ethic that's going to be asked of him, and put on him. And he might just be like, we could waste a scholarship on him or a spot, and he'd be like, I don't really like this after his freshman year. And be like, nah, I'm just going to transfer to Penn or Princeton or something like that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. It seems it's interesting that I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to think of here. I'm trying to word it the right way, but it seems like we're not as connected on the recruiting trail. I mean, we've signed some guys, and I'm happy about all the guys I guess we're in the lead for. That's really all that means. All this verbal commitment, just we're in the lead right now. It might fluctuate some, but it means all the other people are only committed right now or in the lead right now. So we can go out and still work on the other guys, but we need to attack the most important factors: the D-line depth and safeties. We have to have them. So we shouldn't give up. We definitely shouldn't be giving up on anybody that's verbal somewhere else, because nobody's going to give up on the guys that we've pulled away from other schools.
Oh yeah, that's a given. I think you got to keep working on everybody. It's just, the chances of flipping multiple guys is slim to none. Flipping one, maybe, one defensive player, two tops. That's rare, but
Well, I don't think you're going to be able to flip any big time guys, because we were probably trying to go for them from the get go and lost out. To me, it's like those guys that maybe we didn't push hard enough, that you go. I think those are the guys you can flip. Probably, I'm not saying, guys from Alabama and things like that, but again, a guy that went to Purdue and they're like, damn, that's a pretty good recruit for Purdue. You go get one of those guys. You start picking a few of those guys off to fill the holes.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be getting depth. We got to be collecting depth. And interior D line, we need studs still.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are about to start their senior year, right? So,
right.
There's going to be some movement on these rankings and stuff, and hopefully some new things that pop into the picture. Some new opportunities.
Yeah, somebody could be coming on late. Should come on late. Maybe they grew a lot over their junior year, weren't even really noticed at all. Barely had a ranking.
Don't do a bunch of camps.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of having eyes everywhere in the country that you can get a hold of these people or find the hidden gems, I guess. So there's always a few of those every year. It's just if you got to be in the right spot or know the right people to hear about them or get to them. So, but yeah, it does worry me when you talked about the D-line, lack of commitments we have so far, because those guys usually are, the teams fight like hell to keep them once they get them in. So, yeah, getting the D lineman guys to transfer or change it up is probably the most difficult, I would say, of any position.
All right. Well, I got nothing else tonight, so I think we'll call that a day. Yeah, chat quieted down quite a bit, but we appreciate everybody popping in here. As always, please hit subscribe, and the like button would be appreciated. It's no cost to you, no strings attached. But Jeff and Shawn, appreciate you.
Yes,
Yeah, no
sir.
problem, brother. Sorry I was late.
It's all right. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man.
Go Bucks.